parents and teachers are waiting for the axe to fall on some D.C. public schools.
Back in 2008, the system shuttered 23 public schools.
It's a community school, and all children should be able to attend their community school versus be bused or have transportation issues in getting to other schools. So this is where I choose to have my child.
And if you look at a map of Oakland, we have the flatlands and we have the hills. In the flatlands, which are less affluent, that's where all the school closures have happened. That's where all the charter schools are. There are no school closures and there are no charter schools in the hills. And just on the face of it, it doesn't pass the LAF test. If charter schools and school closures were the best educational option, then I would imagine to see them applied across the board and in the more affluent communities first. And that's not the way it's happened.
Well, after a year of trying to meet with our local officials and superintendent and our board members, we were left with no option, and we actually took back our school on the last day of the school year on June 13, 2012. One of the major goals is to raise awareness not just in our city, but what's happening across our nation around school closures. And that goal succeeded. We're here in D.C. now, 6 months later, and talking to Capitol Hill about the issue.
I think we are at a turning point, because there are people organizing in different ways all over the country.
In cities across the nation, many hundreds of mostly black schools have been closed down under the pretext of reforming public education. In the process, black teachers have been fired in huge numbers, often to make way for charter schools and corporate-style education. The pace of school closings and teacher firings has increased exponentially under President Obama, as Bruce Dixon explains.
The current nationwide wave of public school closings and teacher firings, which are concentrated in poor and non-white communities around the country, is directly traceable to President Obama's Race to the Top program. Many schools were forced to close, opening the way for chains of profitable charter schools. Results in the classrooms of poor neighborhoods around the country were devastating. But instead of beginning to turn it around, President Obama chose instead to double down. President Obama appointed Chicago Schools CEO Arne Duncan Secretary of Education. A champion of privatization, Duncan had closed dozens of Chicago public schools, many on short notice, some at the apparent behest of gentrifying real estate developers. Duncan fired so many veteran black Chicago teachers to fill their slots with mostly white rookies that teachers sued him for racial discrimination in federal court and won. Duncan even introduced military charter schools in Chicago, in one case handing over a West Side middle school to the U.S. Marine Corps. Race to the Top's 4 federally mandated strategies are school transformations, school turnarounds, school restarts, and school closures. Race to the Top defines a school transformation as firing the principal and up to 50% of the teachers, replacing them with temps and newbies, and hiring expensive consultants, often the same folks who drafted Race to the Top's guidelines or their cronies, to redesign curriculum and personnel policies. Race to the Top calls its second remedy a school turnaround. School turnarounds are exactly the same as school transformations, except that where transformations fire up to 50%, turnaround schools must fire at least 50% of school staff, bring in the same high-priced, run the school like a business consultants, administer more tests, and all the rests. School restarts are the third Race to the Top solution. Close the public school in a school restart, and you reopen a new one with new staff and the connected consultants under the management of a private corporation, usually a charter school, which can use public money to hire even less qualified teachers, can pick and choose the students it serves, and often generates handsome private profits in the name of choice. Race to the Top's 4th is school closure. In a school closing, you fire the staff, you padlock the school doors, and you let families take their chances on the free market or find another public school if they can. The states and school districts quickest to carry out the most transformations, the most turnarounds, the most restarts, and the most school closings are the ones who get to keep or increase their levels of federal funding. Those who drag their feet lose their federal education dollars. The administration says that it aims to reform at least 5,000 public schools in this manner nationwide in Obama's first term. But even if it took 2 terms to do this, Barack Obama is already set to go down in history as the president who's already done more to dismantle, to destroy, and to privatize public education than any president before him. And he's still got 4 more years. Barack Obama is the diseducation president.
Why don't people shut schools down so they can raise money? Because we want to keep our schools open.
To me, sabotage is collateral damage. Using our people as collateral damage. Using our youth as collateral damage. Sabotage is when you close 37 schools that are in black and brown communities and none of them in the suburbs.
I came here to demand. I ain't asking for not a damn thing. I'm telling you that I am demanding an education for our children. We pay the money. We send our children to the schools. They are our schools. They are our children. It is our money. And that's my attitude over all these years.